Good evening, NPI Nation. Welcome to the fourth season's college football playoff reveal show. Games are over. The regular season is completely over at this point. Now we are just getting ready to see what the bracket is going to be. But this is probably the craziest conference title week that we've had in this league because every one of the top four seeds lost. I've never seen a season where every top seed is lost in the conference title game. I don't think none of them. So I will say this: all four lost, but I don't think none of them will miss the playoffs. Because first thing first, before I get started, let me congratulate the conference title winners. Congratulations to UCLA, Texas State, Baylor, SMU, and if you can see that number, that blank spot, that's going to be SMU. Because coming into this week, SMU was number 13. They had an opportunity to get in if they won their SEC. They did beat the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets to win the SEC. So they're in. But at the end of the day, they're probably going to be in at 12. I don't think nobody's going to. I think the teams that you see on here right now, I think they will all be in the playoffs. I don't think nobody's getting bounced out. I would be shocked if we see a team fall out of the playoffs. I think every single one of these teams will be in. It's just about the seeding. So, as we see coming into this week, every single one of the teams that were, I don't know how the committee is going to do this thing. Because you got every team from number 1 to number 4 is 11-2. Does BYU jump into a bye week now that they beat South Carolina? Could they take South Carolina's bye week? We're going to see how that plays out. You got number 6 Texas State that just beat the number 1 team in the country. I wouldn't be shocked if that team gets into a bye week position again. They're defending national champs. UCLA, same situation. They beat number 2 TCU. I don't know if the committee swapped them into the 4 and kicked TCU all the way out into the first round playoff game. We'll see. And then Georgia Tech, of course. I think they'll be dropped out of that spot. So it's going to be interesting to see what the committee does. As far as the teams that are projected to be wild card, the first round, I think all those teams are pretty much set. I know Baylor and North Carolina, they played in the ACC title game. Even though North Carolina has 3 losses now, I cannot see the committee kicking them out. They were number 8 going into the ACC title game. I do not see them getting kicked out of the playoffs. Also, as you see, at 10 and 11, you got Mizzou and Oklahoma State, who both didn't play in the conference title game. They got in with at least a solid record. So I think they're going to stay intact. You also got SMU that's now coming into play. They're going to have a spot in the playoffs. So I don't see none of these teams being bounced. I would be shocked. Because coming into the week, Colorado was at number 12. I don't see anything changing with that. So without further ado, I've discussed the bracket. Let's get into the final bracket let's find out who's going to be in the college football playoffs. But again, as I said, I can't see none of the teams being removed from the playoffs. I can't see that happening under any circumstances. I think we'll know. I got to advance it one more time. I'm sure they're going to let me know who won the Heisman also. So for the users that's watching in the league, we'll know soon. Okay, let me let it come up on the screen before I announce the person. First thing first, congratulations to Heisman Trophy winner Alan Vick. Texas State has another Heisman Trophy winner out of their school. Wait, the next thing come up on the screen. Shout out to my boy Deshaun Jackson. He won the Fred Blickenoff Award. That's the best receiver in the country. Too bad we didn't really have a good season. So, I mean, this is coming up because it's under my team. So, we get past this and then we can get into the playoffs per se. Tell said no way they rob his game, man. You know how it goes. It's the favor of the team that won a championship. And look like I'll be playing BG4 in the Reliant Quest Bowl, but that's not what we're here to see. Let's get to the bracket. And I might see it a second sooner, but we're going to find out shortly. And here is the bracket. And some changes did happen. As I mentioned in the previous few minutes, BYU moved up to number 1 because of the 1, 2, 3, 4 losses. So as you see, BYU jumped from number 5 to number 1. They have a bye week. They will be relaxing the first week. Number 2, as I mentioned, Texas State beat the number 1 team in the country. They jumped up to the number 2 spot. They will be back in the college football playoffs, trying to go at a shot at the national championship for the second straight year. Nobody has repeated NPI. At number 3, UCLA got their revenge against TCU in the Big Ten title game and moved up into a bye week at number 3. Now, this is the interesting spot, but I can't really say I'm too surprised. TCU is going to stay in at number 4. When you do consider the bracket, they were the number 2 team in the country. They did lose to UCLA, who at one point was number 1. You had to keep somebody up there, so TCU didn't drop too far. They only dropped 2 spots when we look at the final bracket. Baylor went up to number 5. Shockingly, they didn't jump TCU for the bye week spot. So, as you see, they're going to be having a third matchup with the North Carolina Tar Heels. I guess the screen give it a second. The screen got to update. 1 second. I see it's a circle. Okay, so now Pittsburgh, who was the number 1 team in the country coming into the championship games, fell to number 6. They will have a rematch with their conference rival, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, in the first round. They beat Oklahoma State towards the end of the season. I'm sure Tev is going to be ready to get some revenge against that team. Not sure why the stick is going in circles, but we're not coming off of this for a second. But moving to the 7 to 10 spot. Now, South Carolina dropped from number 3 to number 7. They will host the Missouri Tigers in the first round at South Carolina. And then the other matchup, we have another conference title game they're going to be facing off for a third time. You got Georgia Tech going against SMU. So no surprises here. I think the one surprise is, he said, oh Lord, I'm going to be on the hotel Wi-Fi. I think the one surprise that I do see with this bracket, I do like the fact that the committee did show love to SMU because of them being one of the. Let me give it a second. Give this a second. I don't know why this thing stopped. Better start this over. 1 second, guys. I think it went a little haywire. Let me go back in. Give us 1 second. But as you see in the bracket, there are 2 matchups there are a couple of matchups that's going back to back. We're having to restart that. That was going to give us a second. We got to restart the other. 1 second. The bracket started tweaking out. I should have known it was going to do it. But give us a second. We're about to bring it right back up and then finish talking about this. But as you saw, if you can scroll back, if you can go back a second, you will see that the brackets were put up there. 1 second. We're about to have it back on the screen in just a second. I think the committee's so shocked they decided to mess it up. Okay, we're gonna have it back up in just the next 5 seconds. I see Tab say he's on hotel Wi-Fi. Hey man, it's gonna have to be the Wi-Fi game. How your Michael Jordan got the flu game? Gotta be the Wi-Fi game for you, brother. Okay, we're back. So as we stated, this is the bracket for what it's worth. This is your 12 teams that are in. So as I said, as I stated, I knew nobody was going to get kicked out of the 12 because there's no way you can kick anybody out. Everybody that was in, the teams that are behind them, the only team that had a shot to come into the 12 was SMU. They were number 13 going into the SEC title game. But the craziest thing I see in this bracket, 3 of these matchups in the first round are rematches that happened late in the season. So Baylor beat North Carolina in the conference title game, but North Carolina beat Baylor early in the season. So this is part 3 for them too. Same thing for SMU and Georgia Tech. They played each other just last week with an SMU win. Georgia Tech beat them at the end of the regular season. So this right here is the winner go home for both of them. Oklahoma State and Pittsburgh played late. That was Oklahoma State's second loss at that time. So they're going to get another rematch, but this game is going to be at Pitt this time. And then Mizzou plays South Carolina. I'm not sure if they played earlier this season too. But again, not surprised with the bracket. I will say this. I'm not shocked. I'm surprised that I've seen a change looking at this bracket. They flipped Mizzou and Oklahoma State from 10 to 11. I'm intrigued to see why they did that. I knew that North Carolina would drop a little bit, but they didn't get eliminated from the playoffs, which we all knew that wasn't going to happen. But they did show SMU some love. They brought them up to number 9. I'm shocked they did not flip them to number 8 with them winning the conference. But as you can see, that's how it kind of played out. In the previous format, they might have moved into the 12-team spot at number 5. But again, this is just a different format now. So that's how it goes. But I don't think it's no surprises here as far as that. KD said part 3. Oh, Lord, I'm be on hotel Wi-Fi. And GG's tell. Oh, man. You got to lock in, tell, because, yeah. Don't want to get messed up off that Wi-Fi from here. But let's go look at the top 25. Let's see what the committee ultimately decided. And before we go on to focus on anything else, we're going to just focus in on that top 13 of how that's going to go. Now, let's look at how the committee. Now, I'm surprised. I will have to say this. This is okay. So he said he only lost one conference game by 1. I wasn't moving too far down. So it's a tricky situation. I know I see some comments in the group chat wondering why TCU didn't fall further. But I think the situation is this. With all 4 teams losing, the situation played out. I think TCU had the closest loss of the 4 because I believe Georgia Tech lost by double digits. I think everybody lost by double digits but TCU. So I think what the committee ended up doing was they didn't punish them too much. They left them at number 4. Baylor moving up to number 5. It totally makes sense. They were one of the top conference title teams at that time. Pitt dropped. So as you see, the 3 conference title losers respectfully kept the home game. They went to 6, 7, and 8. SMU went from 13 to 9 as they should have went because you're one of the top 5 conferences. This is the reason For the ones of you that did not understand why we went from 6 to 5 conferences, this is why we went to that format. So we guaranteed that the top 5 conferences got into the playoffs that won. Because last year, Oklahoma State won the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 was completely left out of the playoffs. So to prevent that, and also based on the format of the committee, it is the top 5 conference championship winners and the 7 at-large teams. So that's how we came up with this format, and that's how the playoffs set up. So Mizzou went up a spot, Oklahoma State dropped a spot, and North Carolina, again, like I said, this goes back to the format of like Alabama this year in college football. They made the conference title game, lost the conference title game. You can't kick them for making the conference title game. So conference title game still matters, whether people want to admit it or not, but they do. So let's go down to number 13, which is Colorado. It's going to start pointing out to them momentarily. But I'm going to speak on what happened with Colorado. The problem with Colorado is when you don't play in a conference title game, and you had SMU that was number 13, they won a conference. You're jumping them automatically. You're kicking out Colorado. Because at that time, going into the last game of the regular season, Cincinnati was in that spot, but they lost to UCF. So Colorado was the placeholder at that moment, but then unfortunately, SMU won the conference. You're kicking them out. They're going to get the best. They're probably getting the best game behind the top 12, of course. At number 14 is Nebraska. Nebraska dropping that third game kind of hurt them. And then, of course, they got back up the rankings, but it was just right. It was just a little too late for Nebraska. They lost. That's the one unfortunate thing I'm noticing that the committee is big on. You would rather lose early than late, because if you're not in a position to be playing for the college football playoffs, then yeah, you just may be stuck. That's what it just really come down to. Let's go to number 15. Stafford moved all the way up to 15. That was a good jump for them. They got some wins late in the season. Number 17 was Maryland. Maryland was in contention down to the end, and they lost to BYU. So they finished at 9-3 on the season. Some other ranked teams that finished in the top 25 was Arizona and Cincinnati at 19-20. And then you had UCF at 23, and that's all the users that are ranked. So that is your final top 25 as far as the regular season. So let's get to the award winners real quick. We already know the Heisman Trophy winner was the quarterback for Texas State. So we're going to move on to the next. All right, so we're waiting on it to come up. Okay, so the quarterback of player of the year, who's also the Heisman Trophy winner, is Alan Vick, the quarterback. He just beat Hingie from Oklahoma State out for the Maxwell Award. Walter Camp Award, which is also another award for player of the year. Wild, bro. It's wild. At number 2 was Hingie again, and Alan Vick got the Walter Camp Award as well. So 2 awards to the Heisman Trophy winner. Next award is the Head Coach of the Year award. It's not going to go to a top user, so the highest ranked user, I'm going to show him when it comes up on the screen. The highest ranked user is going to be BYU led by Coach Franklin. They're 47-8 since this league has started, but they have just not had the unfortunate pleasure of getting a chance to compete or win a national title yet. Maybe this season could be different. They are the number one team heading into the bracket. They won in the 25 version of this league, so we'll see. Let's go to the Davey O'Brien Award, which is quarterback of the year. That's going to be Alan Vick as well. Alan Vick has been sweeping this award ceremony to this point. Let's move on to the Chuck Bednarik Award. That is for the best defensive player. And of course, so Kansas State has the number one defensive player, but the number two, which is the best user, is Zach Williams. He is the senior linebacker from Baylor. So Baylor got the award for that. The next award is going to be the Bronco Nagurski Trophy, which is for Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, so as you see, Kansas State and Washington had 1 and 2, but Zach Williams finished number 3 in that race, so he will be qualified for, as far as our users, for the best one in that category. The next one is going to be the Jim Thorpe Award. That's for the best defensive back of the year. And that's going to go to, let it go down to him, because as you see, the best one was Tate Harris. He's the free safety from Georgia Tech, who's in his final year at Georgia Tech, so congratulations to him. Moving on to the Doak Walker Award. This is for the best running back in the country. And that will go to Ed Small, which is the running back from TCU. Moving on to the Fred Blinkenstoff Award. That is the receiver of the year. And it's going to go to Deshaun Jackson, the receiver from Cal, who finished with the award. He was number 5 in the Heisman race. But we're going to move on to the next, which is the Lombardi Award. That's going to go to Emmanuel Carmo, the senior pass rusher from BYU. He had 14 sacks on the season, and that's what qualifies him for the Lombardi Award. It's going to go to the United's Golden Arm Award. Now, Ted will be happy about this one. As far as the Golden Arm Award, this is to the quarterback, the senior quarterback of the year. That's going to be Hingie from Oklahoma State, this is his senior year. He's going to hope to have a chance to make a run at a national championship before he hits the draft. Moving on to the Edge Rusher of the year. Oh, it's up. It's gonna go to Emmanuel Carmo, the defensive end from BYU. He got a second award, and we're gonna move on to the next award, which is for Interior Offensive Lineman of the Year, the Outland Trophy. So the 1 and 2 was not user teams, so it's going to go to Ryan Howerton from North Carolina. Moving along to the John Mackey Award, that's for the best tight end in the country. And I'm thinking that the winner that's going to come up, I think he won it last year, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. And it was Antoine Gates from Texas State. It's going to tweak out for a second. I'm going to go back to this. So it went to the Broyles Award too early, but it's going to be Antoine Gates from Texas State. Second year in a row, I believe he won it. I think he was also in the All-American spot for that position last year too. So he got another John Mackey Award on this belt. He's the first one since Brock Bowers. Moving on to the Broyles Award, that's going to be for the Assistant Coach of the Year. And we're going to have to go down the list, and this is going to go to BYU's offensive coordinator for that award. Let's go to the Dick Butkus Award, which is for linebacker of the year. All right, and that's going to go to Zach Williams, who has a third award, the linebacker of the year. That's at Baylor. We're going to go to the Remington Award, which is the center of the year. Okay, so the best user on the board is Sean Herman. He is the junior center from Nebraska. Congratulations to him for the award. The Lou Groza Award, I'm actually going to skip over it because y'all seen earlier that my kicker won the award for Cal. The punter, I'm going to go straight to that award. For the Ray Guy Award, it's going to be Rico Vanderdoes, the junior out of Illinois. The Jet Award is the next one up. That is for the best special teams returner. And we're going to congratulate Taz Williams Jr., the junior from Baylor. And last but not least, the freshman player of the year, which is the Sean Alexander Award. That award will go to Larry Fitzgerald from Pitt. So congratulations, Larry Fitzgerald, for that award. So that's it as far as the awards per se. I'm going to go back to the bracket. So, league members that are still tuned in, this is officially the bracket for the playoffs. It's gonna kick off. I think I'm going to. So, with this being late, I think it's gonna be the first round's gonna be up to Thursday. So, just give y'all a heads up. If y'all get done fast, cool. If not, then hey, you got till Thursday with the NFL draft coming into play. So, not gonna really rush you guys through this thing. But again, good luck to these 12 that's going to be competing for the national championship hunt. For the teams that didn't make the 12, I will be in your bowl games for you to go ahead, try to get the bowl games out of the way and see, can you end the season with a bang? Is going to be key when you do your recruiting and all that good stuff. So, again, good luck to you guys that are in for the bowl, teams that are in the bowl. Get your bowl wins, go out with a bang so you can have a great offseason and then get ready to build for what should be a great fifth season in the league. So let's make sure to make that fifth season go out with a bang. With that being said, this has been your college football playoff show. Good luck to the teams that are in the 12, and you will see me back on here when it's the semifinals and the national championship to call them games. Good night and good luck, teams.